We are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gym and the Crypto episode 1081. Today is Friday, March 10th, 2023, and I'm King.
And I'm Bitcoin Zay, here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community, Monday through Friday at 10ish.
At 10ish in today's top stories, U.S. bank woes, Silicon Valley Bank stocks plunge one day after Silvergate downfall. New York Attorney General sues KuCoin, claims Ethereum as a security. CBDCs could be easily weaponized to spy on U.S. citizens, says Congressman. Rapper The Game's crypto startup gets registration revoked. DAO Maker founder builds game based on abandoned Logan Paul project in just 30 days, plus more. You all know this is an FBF Fuck Bitcoin Friday. Feel free to call in when we drop that link. If you have a dispute or we got something wrong, we really encourage you to call in more than anything. And yeah, let's get this show started. But first and foremost, what's going on with those prices, Bitcoins, eh?
Oh, yeah. So let's take a look at these prices for today. Definitely a tough day in the markets. Bitcoin at $19,901, down 8.5%
Hey,
today.
really quick, before you go,
Yeah.
my bad. Just want to
Mhm.
call it out. Hey, we call it out both ways. Literally yesterday, I said I think we still got a little bit more to slip. I want to wait till Friday, see we hit that 19. Did I not say 19.8? I said that 19.8 range. I
Oh,
literally
yeah.
said that. And I'm hoping and praying we get a little bit more slippage before Monday. But my fault. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Likewise. And Ethereum's at $1,403, down 8.8% today. Binance Coin at 272, down 6% today. XRP at 36 cents, down 6.8% on the day. Cardano at 31 cents is down almost 3% in the last 24 hours. Polygon at $1 is down 6.5%. Dogecoin at 6 cents is down 10% on the day. And rounding out the top 10 is Solana at $17, down 6% on the day. Pretty much, I mean, if you look at this heat map, I mean, everything just fell off a cliff today. It's the highway to hell. Everybody fell off the fucking
Woo! Look
cliff.
at that.
Highway to hell. Shiba Inu, top trending coin today. Pancake Swap and Shikoku as well. And for some of our recently added coins, Leaf Coin, Crypto GPT, of course, and Tor Wallet. So my DJs want to dumpster dive, good. Now's a good time to scoop it up. We're in the gutter, people. This blood in the streets. This is the time.
See, well, really quick, I will say this. Goodness gracious, you just freeze out again that quick as soon as you unshare that. That's pretty funny. Let's see if I can get Bitcoin Zay back. But while we're waiting on Bitcoin Zay to come back, again, we were just talking yesterday saying we were hoping for this to retrace. Some things we have been saying in the trading classes. Again, to me, this pump should have never happened anyway, especially not as aggressive. I think the pump to go up to 21. I think we were like 17 a few weeks ago. Top of January, we were like 17K. To me, to go
Yeah.
to 20 to 21, okay, I buy that. But when that fervor kicked in at the 2021 mark and WF was going on, and we pumped to 24. I was like, look, I kept telling everybody in trading class, I'm like, no, like this is about to be a FOMO move. You kept calling dead count bounces. I'm like, it shouldn't be here. I'm not going for it. But I say
Yeah.
all that to say, yes, right now we're about to get in a weird space because in the next 12 months the happening is going to happen, right? So now is like no matter what, there are going to be people to start investing toward that date and thereafter. No, so that's going to keep the market at a certain level regardless. However, we are still above schedule. I think on price point right now, I think there's more to go. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if we actually slip again. We got to 17K last time. Will there be enough dead space to go to 17K and below? That's kind of what we're waiting on right now. Who knows? But I do think there's more to go on this weekend. I think on this weekend will give us a better idea going into Monday. I think we finally got Bitcoin Day back. I don't know, but top story of the day. Oh, actually, let me get some quick shout outs before we get started on top story of the day. What's going on? Wisdom Bars, KB, Wendy Nichols, Bitcoin Madam, Truth Believe, Goodness, Chris Minka, Satoshi Slim, Larry N, PFC Wells. What's going on? Michael JR, Fanteezy, Virgo L Unico, Crypto Night Train. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Embrace Success. I don't know. Maybe we get Jams or somebody on to talk about it today. Embrace Success asks two questions. They said, what is up with Richard Hart deleting all references to Hex, Post Chain, and Post from his social media? And is Sam Bankman Free Ryoshi the whale of Shiba Inu? Oh, wow. that second part, hey, Embrace, remind us later on the show toward the end to talk about that. That's a great, oh, wow. Is Sam Bankman-Fried the whale of Sheba? Wow. We got some interesting things. All right, I think we got Bitcoin Zay back. You on the phone or something? What you on?
Yeah, I'm just going to do it on the phone. Old school. Because I got two laptops damn near brand new and something not working. Yeah, I think I'm getting tapped by something.
Yeah, local TX said you're getting targeted. You need to run that malware / antivirus in your PC. All right, maybe we'll try the phone, but I will tell you it sounds terrible. I'm getting a lot of feedback on your end, just let you know. So hopefully we can get that to work. All right, top story of the day though. Maybe maybe mute it while I'm talking to something. I don't know what's going on today. There we go. Top story of the day as we get the technical issues settled. Oh, last thing I was going to say about the prices, because he was mentioning price. The only thing I will say is that, hold on, let me see, get him what I got. All right, there we go. Zay, I was going to say, you mentioned price. Sounds great right now. You're perfect. You mentioned price, and the only reason I was bringing it up, I was trying to stall until you came back so I can mention this. The only thing I will say is I think now is a great buying time as well, but I do think we have more of a dip to go. But I did get caught up in this moment last time at the beginning of January, if you don't forget that. So I would say this, this is not investment advice or any of that. This is for people who want to be stakeholders in these different projects and hope to attain some value or additional value while they're a stakeholder. I would say, yes, now is a good time. But I'm personally waiting for more of a dip. But even if you buy now or if you jump into a project now and it does dip, it's okay. Continue to dollar cost average into it, because Zay is right. Like right now, these prices are 40 to 60% down than what they were literally the last few weeks. To me, this was a small test run of what will happen in the next bull market. So literally some of the same and similar tokens, you better believe as we round this corner into next year, they're going to pump not the same way, even more aggressive than what we just saw. So even if you were to become a stakeholder now and these things decrease in value over the next realistically 2 months, I'll say about a month and a half, 2 months. So it'll be 8 weeks, 9 weeks of just everything going down. You feel like you're a stakeholder in some of these projects. I still say it's okay. I still say most of these projects are in the clear into next year, unless by the time the happening comes, New York and the government decides, as Bitcoin, as I said, everything outside of Bitcoin is a security. Then everybody's F, right? But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, top story of the day, though, U.S. bank woes. Whew, man, it's crazy. U.S. bank woes. Silicon Valley Bank stock plunges 1 day after Silvergate downfall. What's going on with SVB and all the news around this?
Oh, yeah. So constitutional health of the tech-focused bank, which services like Sequoia and A16Z. Fears have been heightened over the future of the Silicon Valley Bank announced a significant sale aimed at raising additional capital. And if you shares of Silicon Valley Bank collapsed over 60%, $80 billion in value. $80 billion 1 day.
They don't want you to be great. They do not want you to be great, Zay. That whole sentence was chopped up about 20 times.
Man, they don't want me to be great.
They don't want you to be great, brother. It's all good. Call back in. Hey, somebody give Zay a computer to call into. We'll figure that out. But essentially, so Silvergate Bank has dropped a lot, I guess, since or not Silvergate Bank, Silicon Valley Bank has announced a significant sale of assets and stocks aimed at raising additional capital. They've dropped a lot of capital ever since Silvergate actually went out of business. But some investors may be concerned that is not all as well over at this tech startup and VC-focused bank. Of course, because of Silvergate closing, it looks like shares in Silicon Valley Bank collapsed over 60%. And you have to remember, this is on the traditional side. This is not in crypto. We go through 60% drops like right now, and you have people literally saying, like professionals know what they're doing, a straight face telling you now is the time to become a stakeholder in these assets. If a 60% drops on Wall Street, now's the time to sell out of this asset. It's the time to get away from this thing is going under and fast. People are going to get fired and they're going to go out of business. It said this wiped some $80 billion in value from the bank shares. That is absolutely insane. And also, just to give you all a better idea of how large or essentially how small Silvergate Bank is compared to some of those other banks. If you remember, we looked at the market share of Wells Fargo yesterday, and we looked at the market share of Silvergate. Now, we said Silvergate was like 155 million. Wells Fargo was like 155 billion. One thing we didn't account for was Silvergate Bank at its all-time high. That was after the stock has been sold. They've been collapsing the last few weeks. So we looked at that, and not deep dive of research, but just from skimming the internet, from what we saw at its high during a bull run, Silvergate only managed to acquire about $6 billion in assets and capital and everything else. Market cap was $6 billion at its high. Right now, at market lows and going through this volatility, Wells Fargo is at 155 billion. That's not JP Morgan Chase, which is larger, and that's not Bank of America, which I don't know off the top of my head, but I would probably assume is larger as well. So literally, you're talking about Silvergate Bank, 6 billion at most of a market cap, which is being dwarfed by these actual other banks out there. Still made it, of course, until not only the government's mouth, but we had the senator yesterday or whatever. Pelosi, was it Warren? One of them was talking about it, made comments, and now today, because of that bank actually failing, we're looking at Silicon Valley Bank losing over $80 billion and essentially collapsing on the traditional stock market. Now, Silvergate Bank is one of the top 20 largest banks in the United States and provides banking services to the likes of crypto-friendly venture firm Sequoia and Andreessen Horowitz, A16Z. Of course, the issue with these is that these are the same people who bought into FTX. So when you talk about exposure, this is exposure to the max. Hey, calling back to our classes, when we're looking at some of the DeFi platforms we might be staking on or doing farming on, then we look at some of the trades we might actually want to swap into, because we're like, hey, we know this token might be valuable because it actually works. We're using the platform. But at the same time, we're exposing ourselves to that same project in our portfolio. To me, this is the same thing, but even on a grander scale. You literally have Silicon Valley Bank, a huge bank with all these assets and partners and all that, doing business with Sequoia and Andreessen Horowitz, providing services to them. But Sequoia and Andreessen Horowitz were giving tons of their money over to FTX. So not only would the bank suffer from their own relationships when you're talking about Silvergate, but also from having the relationship from Sequoia and Andreessen, A16, would also expose them. So, I mean, 60%, $80 billion in the bank shares. Like, when you start to factor in all those things and account for that, like, that actually seems like a real number. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. In March 8th, in the financial update, it disclosed it sold $21 billion worth of security holdings for a $1.8 billion loss to shore up its balance sheet. I feel like I'm having deja vu because we talked about this before with another company years ago in this space. I remember that specifically because they did a similar sale in security holdings in order to kind of balance off its losses or whatever. It also raised $500 million from venture firm General Atlantic and is seeking to raise another $1.5 billion. 75 billion in sales of its shares for a total of 2.25 billion. So essentially, they're trying to sell everything. And would you look at that? Woo, that is a dip. And again, this is the traditional side, SVB stock. This is the traditional side of the house. So again, 60% of crypto. This is something we might be able to weather, but for these banking services, is a little bit different. And just to give you an idea, here's some related stocks. Look at how they move, down 2.36%. That's a lot. Down 1.92%. Those are that's NASDAQ and Goldman Sachs. Look at Bank of America, 0.2, Wells Fargo, 0.44. And now when we actually go to Silvergate Bank, and again, SVB, they have taken a plunge of 60% since this fiasco has started. I mean, would you look at that? $268 on March 8th at 340 or 315, down to $106 literally a day later, and that's on the traditional exchange. That is a drop, people. Crazy to see. It's unfortunate. You all know I was fans of Silvergate Bank, but it looks like these things happen. Now, someone else I want us to point our attention to, and again, shout out to Bitcoin Zay. He's the one who actually got this story together as well as this clip. I should have wore the white button up today, because none other than our main man and mascot, Cramer, actually called for this, except for not for the drop, but as a buy signal. He told people to buy Silvergate Bank stock. And this is the continued issue, not only with the traditional space as far as financial stuff, but also in the crypto space now, where I'm not understanding how all these people get their opportunities and continue to get opportunities when they have to be losing people a lot of money. Zay said he thinks he's actually a plant and this is all manufactured. But would you look at this? Look at this guy right here. All right. So just to pay attention, he's saying this. It looks like in the background, I can't see the date. Is that January 3rd? I think possibly. I can't see the date, but the price is definitely $320. You can see right there. And to start, I do somewhat agree with them. Again, I've said that in the crypto market many times, where it's like, or even with Silvergate, we were looking at the other day. We were looking at, all right, we're looking at $5 was $5.40. And I'm like, hey, if they can survive through the bear market, this is actually valuable to invest in because it's a bank. He's right. A bank will come back and be providing banking services. However, where he called it wrong at, and I get it, the same two banks or the same two wealth capital firms. I wasn't even sharing it. I got to resharing it. My fault. I got to resharing it. He's going to mention two wealth capital firms. I just noticed, thanks in the comments. He's going to mention two wealth capital firms, the same two I was just actually speaking on. And he thinks it's a plus that they're loaning out money to the A16s and the Sequoias. When they're loaning out money to them and they're actually doing this in crypto, it's a minus. So my fault. I wasn't sharing the video. I'm gonna share it. But again, he's saying this, and the price is what, $320. Oh man, y'all missed some good stuff. Let me go back. And I actually meant to break that up so I wouldn't get this this copyright thing against me, but I'll play it through. Here we go.
Private equity and venture capital, they're not going away. Being the banker to these immense pools of capital has always been a very good business. Stock's still cheap. Now, you have to remember that a stock that falls 66%, like SVB Financial did last year, it takes it a lot more to recover. After losing 2/3 of your value, you need a 200% gain to get back to even.
All right, so again, really quick, price point $320. He even said last year it lost 66%. And to get back to that, you need a 200% return, 2/3 of that value, whatever, since it lost it. And again, to me, it's kind of crazy because it's like to get your value back, 200% return is like, even if I agree with, you know, the strength of banks and how they loan money, how aggressively they can come back in the market, why would you place your capital in a banking stock in the traditional side of house? And again, we're 20% is a great year and you need 200% to make your money back rather than just go over to the crypto side. That I just don't understand personally, but
this is arithmetic. Some people call it geometry. So you could argue SVB's nearly 40% rally this year is barely a drop in the bucket. And that's how I want you to think it. I think it's also a good example of why these bounce back moves might be far from over. These stocks could have more room to run, especially if you think they were driven down to artificially low levels by tax loss selling, artificial dumping, like we saw in private equity and venture capital. They're not going away.
So there it is, SVB from Cramer. And again, this is everyone's favorite. So I'm with you. No, Humney said Cramer's entertainment. That's what I'm missing. That's why I came on yesterday with the gidgets and gadgets. No, I do get it. He is entertainment. But this is my question. So Todd's right. Does Cramer have to say this is not financial advice during his shows? He should. That's my question, because this is, you know, literally this is a buy signal at $320, and today we're looking at $106. You talking about the regulations and the regulatory environment in the crypto sector is like, well, that's national TV. Are you allowed to do that over there? How does this work? I don't know. And someone said it looks like Satoshi said it always sounds like he's been hitting the sauce off camera. Too funny. All right, but that's SVB again in Silvergate. Oh my goodness, I gotta play it, people. Hold on, let me play it. Play the background. Here we go.
You know, man walks around with $50,000 chinchilla coat, never even bought me a cup of coffee. There's something wrong there. Pay your bills, Frank.
I don't know what you're
Do
talking
you
about.
pay your bills, I asked you?
If you are not getting your share, maybe you need to talk to the chief of police.
What's my share? Because you don't even know me. Maybe I'm special.
You are special.
You see that right there? Special Investigations Unit. Special. Get it? 10 grand. First of each month. Deliver it right here.
That is right. New York never fails. I mean, I don't have words for this any longer. The fact that the state and the city has a blanket, we're going to do whatever we want to any crypto company and cryptocurrency or anyone involved in it globally attitude with a straight face is super scary. And it's the reason why people hate Americans. Like, this is crazy. But let's talk about it. New York Attorney General sues KuCoin, claims Ethereum is security. Bang, bang, shots fired. Listen, I'm sure, like, for people who wasn't on our side to begin with, when it comes to self-regulations and keeping the government out right now and letting this innovation flow, for those people who are against us and say we get, maybe we're too aggressive with it and too, maybe the government should do this and that, blah, blah, blah. Now watch how they react. They're going after you guys' baby now. We all know that if Ethereum is declared a security, then literally 99% of the market will follow. And as we said, this will not be the big boom or bust, but it will be the big consolidation. And be honest, a lot of the market actually would not change. The only thing that would change, let me bring this down. The only thing that would change with most of the market, if these things were labeled securities, would be, I would say, the speed of growth, because it'll be so much more regulation, things you have to go through. And what was the second thing? That's primary, like the speed of growth. A lot of things. Oh, and the literature. That was the second thing. The literature would change. They would stop lying and saying this is decentralized or this is that. And it would just be like, yes, the security is centralized and we're doing it like this, and it's digital, but it's not decentralized. It's not you own it, the government owns it, or a private company. So I honestly think if most things were declared securities, it would not be the end of the world, people. Like Bitcoin would shine even brighter, as it should. And everything else would actually continue as normal, as usual for the most part. Again, growth would slow down because they would have to add in new barriers as far as like KYC, AML, and all this other stuff. But by and large, most of these things, like, not necessarily are they securities, but like they're not cryptocurrencies. They're not Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I don't know what most of these things are. These things that have 3 nodes that operate the entire, or 6 people that have 67% of all tokens on a blockchain. I don't know what those are. I do not identify with those as being like a crypto I want to use. So yeah, if those come under fire and they're labeled as securities, the market would consolidate. Most things wouldn't change because they're already operating as a private company. So the only thing would change is that the government will get their cut. And then things like Bitcoin will continue to be great. You'll actually see the difference between the technology of these projects and the projects that are here to make money. You will overnight see the difference. So first and foremost, I don't think if this were to happen, it would be that crushing of a blow, honestly. If anything, they're labeled securities. They put them on NASDAQ, business as usual. You just won't be able to make 200, 300%. You'll be able to make 5 to 10%. Now, going back to gang. And again, it's kind of hilarious because watch how many people flip on the government today. Watch how many people, especially on Ethereum's team, because a lot of those people work with regulators. They love regulators because they think that was. Listen, what we keep saying. Keep trying to make a deal with the devil. You don't know how the gang operates. I keep trying to tell y'all, there isn't going to be okay, you give us what we want today, and then we'll never ask for anything else again. No. The day they ask you for anything, the meeting has already been had to say, we're only going to ask for this today. And in 5 years, we'll ask for this. In 10 years, we'll ask for this. In 20 years, we should have these new people in positions of power, and then they should be able to ask for that. And in 30 and 50 years, we'll actually own the entire market. That is like gang works. They're not about to come in and beg and plead and take a little bit. They're going to take it all. And I say that because a lot of Ethereum folks wanted to work with regulators. They invited them in. They're trying to do this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, regulator comes out, hey, y'all are security. Thank you for working with us. Y'all actually are just another security. The New York AG seeks to block access to the crypto exchange in the state as well. Talking about KuCoin. They filed a lawsuit against cryptocurrency exchange KuCoin for allegedly violating securities and commodities laws in the state. In the complaint, Attorney General Letitia James makes the startling claim that not only are Terra Luna and Terra USDT securities, as previously alleged by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, but also Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap. You see how this works? They get a little bit of string, a piece of yarn, and they unroll the entire ball. You all fell for it. You all fell for it. You all fell for it. For every Ethereum loving mofo out there who kept saying we need regulation, we need the help of this and that and the other, you fucking fell for it. And now you're security. Or at least you're on your way to becoming from, or one. I mean, and this is literally what I just said. Look at the people on Ethereum and look how many of them work with regulators. Ethereum at right now, as far as this, I don't want to. I would say the higher levels, some of the validators or something, like look at who the people are. A lot of them came with money. They did not make their money in crypto. And this is my issue with some of the people who came with money. They're trying to mitigate every little loss they can, whereas people who are making their money in crypto understand it comes and goes with the market. So it's like you're coming over here, you're trying to mitigate losses. One of the ways you want to mitigate losses is to invite regulation to protect you and have all these things around and blah, blah, blah. But this comes with it. They're going to want their cut, and their cut, as easy as doing it, isn't to rewrite an entire digital assets book on crypto. It's just to say, no, you're a security. You're going to go by this Howie's test from the 40s or 20s, and we're going to continue as business as usual. Why? Because you invite us into your home. So I am not mad at the AG or New York, even though not only am I not mad at them, I mean, I respect them. They're gangsters. You got to respect the real gangster. And you better respect the AG in New York because they're putting it down. Marlon, thank you for the super chat. Said the East SG grifters got them. They're forcing them to prove a stake, and look at them now. They're a security. I called this back in 2020, Sergeant Crypto. Sergeant Crypto. Yeah, you did call that back a long time ago, for sure. But let's get back to it. I mean, let's talk about it. Man, look at that. First it was Terra USDT, and then Ethereum. Boom. This action is one of the first times a regulator is claiming in court. This is what you all are missing the importance about this. This is happening in court. Literally, all you need is for one judge to okay this, and it sets a precedent. You have to go through an appeals process and all these other processes, but it's already too late after the one judge upholds it. That means other enforcement agencies will uphold it. Some parts of the government will uphold it. It will get ugly overnight if one judge. And now I would say this, look at how New York's been operating. Look how the New York Attorney General, was it the Eastern District, the Southern District of New York. Look at how they did Ross Ulbricht, double life sentence. Look how they've done a lot of people. Charlie Shrum, the entire Bitcoin and crypto industry, bit licenses. You think they can't find one judge in New York to say this is a security? Are you kidding me right now? Like, I mean, the fun and games are over, people. It's time to be realistic about what this is. It is a war on crypto. You think the Attorney General of New York isn't going to find one judge to say Terra Luna is security, USDT is security? Oh, Ethereum does like security too. You're not going to find one judge to do that in all of New York. All right. Listen, I used to be like that too. I thought we were going to have mass adoption by 2017, people, okay? We know how that turned out. So again, this is crazy. The New York AG's lawsuit targets KuCoin also for allegedly falsely representing itself as an exchange when really it is a securities and commodities broker dealer. Damn, shots fired. New York AG said, I want my money and I want it now. It aims to block access to the exchange in New York by forcing KuCoin to geofence its website based on IP addresses and GPS location. Actually, this already happens to a lot of crypto companies in the United States. So every time someone says something about China and Chinese people can't see this and the red wall of China as far as they can't access internet sites, you do realize the United States has been doing this to us as well. And they're doing it right now in front of us. This is not freedom. We did not vote on this. There's no consensus to this. This is literally one attorney general, one human being in New York being backed by probably 15 other rich, no, that's a lie, probably being backed by 200 other very wealthy, extremely wealthy human beings. So let's say 201 people are trying to make a website inaccessible to the entire United States. Something is very fucking wrong with that picture. That's crazy. That is crazy. But again, they're talking about KuCoin, the Seychelles-based exchange, ranking 5th on CoinGecko's list of crypto exchanges. Yeah, they're saying this thing is a commodities and securities broker dealer. And again, this is Seychelles. This is Seychelles. So for everyone right now, I want to make sure this is you all getting this picture. For everyone right now who always looks at other countries, what's happening. We talk shit and blah, blah, blah. We are not doing anything against our own government, who are essentially picking fights with other people and other governments. What's going to happen when Seychelles says, no, you're not going to mess with our businesses and citizens here? The U.S. is going to back down. We're going to send some more of y'all kids to war, some more of my kids one day to war, and so on and so on and so on. And this is literally all because the U.S. does not want to adopt crypto and Bitcoin right now, because we want to maintain the banking cartel. It's kind of crazy, but it's happening in real life. And yeah, Seychelles company is about to come under United States jurisdiction. That is hilarious. And not because of Washington, D.C., by the way, people. This other thing I want to make clear is not because of Washington, D.C. making these people come under Hill. It's because of people in New York. Wall Street. It is Wall Street's private little bank regulator army trying to bring the entire planet to his knees for New York. It'd be so, my tune would be so different if this was coming from the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. All right. And I already know what they're going to say. They're going to say national security, semi-true, but semi-false. But this would be different. This is coming from New York. Every day we talk about regulation is coming from New York, not Texas, not Florida, some of California, but not too much. North Dakota, South Dakota, Michigan. New York is telling the entire planet what to do in crypto. That is hilarious to me. It's literally 201 people at the most. But again, just to finish this story up, last year, of course, Ethereum became approved the stake blockchain last year. They're saying that consensus mechanism to stake it or lock it up. Those are some of the things that New York AG is saying. This is why these are securities, even though, of course, Ethereum is pushing back, saying it's non-security. And yeah, I wouldn't even worry about the face of the AG. This face could be anyone. It could be an 8-year-old right there. It could be a 68-year-old. It doesn't matter. The play is crypto. You're in New York, you're in Wall Street, and you're in the banking cartel's backyard. They're going to use all their resources, including the Eastern and Southern districts and the Attorney General, to make sure the shit stops or at least slows down until they have a chance to catch up. So we'll see. Let's see. Todd said Ethereum seems like a Trojan horse to me. Man, yeah, it does. BK Crypto said, yep, they playing over her. They are, but they aren't, because this is the way it works. Like, she's going to be this person to do this. And then in the future, she's gang now. She's good to go. You know what I'm saying? She get other jobs. Like, she's good. You remember that one? Y'all remember? I went after the whole crypto market. I need this position and I need the bonus to go along with it. She'll get it. All right. Yeah. So they're using her for that, correct, but she'll be fine. Let's see. I never understood, T Breezy said, I never understood the call for regulations. Speaking of that, Sailor needs to pipe down on all that regulation talk. So I haven't heard him recently in general, so I don't know how much he's talking about regulations, but if he is talking regulation, that's because he's probably trying to make sure he maintains some of his capital as well. Let's see what else we got going on. Exactly. Local TX said, yep, 1,000% right. That's what lawyers do. They look to find that one judge that allowed or disallowed something. Exactly, man. That's like, come on, that's one-on-one, folks. And like I said, it's Wall Street's backyard. They will find a one judge for it. Jake said, library already set precedent. This is a nothing burger. The sale was a security, but not resale and trade. Okay, all right, that is true. The library thing went down, so that did help some things. They're clearing the way for the big dogs like Fidelity, and that's what it really comes down to. Brighten myself up. That's what it really comes down to. Fidelity's in the market. Soon Wells Fargo will be in the market. Bank of America fully in the market. All of these big banks will be in the market. I agree with BK Crypto. This is really what it's about. No one's doing anything wrong. All right. And this is my point where I'm just like, why don't you just come out and say we're a gang as a government? And like, yeah, we want our whoever gets a part, whoever becomes a part of this gang gets all types of privileges, including taking money from whatever industry you want. Like, just come out and tell us. Because right now you keep acting like, well, you guys are doing all this evil and moral wrong and breaking laws. It's like, no one's breaking any laws or doing anything morally wrong. You're talking about technology right now. At the end of the day, you've been talking about technology, and majority of the people who are using this technology are doing it to make more capital to provide for themselves and their family. There's nothing nefarious going on in the market as a whole. So I would rather them say, you all are not doing nothing wrong. but you got to get the fuck out the way because the banks want to come in. Once they're settled in here, then you all can come. Like, just come out and tell us. Because honestly, if you came out and tell us, majority of people will sit on the sideline anyway because people don't like to fight. They don't want beef. Most people sit on the sideline, but instead they say, no, we're going to criminalize this. We're going to make it look morally wrong. We're going to do all this stuff to mess with people's lives just so we can clear the way for the banks. Just so we can clear the way for 6 people in their companies. Like, just tell us you're going to do that because this is crazy. Like, this is crazy. Let's see what else we have going on. CBDCs. I get to get more negative here. CBDCs could be easily weaponized to spy on U.S. citizens. Not says King, but says Congressman Tom Emmer. Shout out to Tom Emmer. He has been putting in that work, at least verbally. Hopefully he's behind the scenes making it happen as well. But he made the anti-central bank digital currency comments to an audience at the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank in Washington. That's right. Oh, there we go. Dressed up. All right. United States Representative Tom Emmer believes the launch of programmable central bank digital currency in the country could strip American citizens of their financial privacy. Speaking on March 9th at the Cato Institute, a Washington, D.C. based libertarian think tank, Emmer explained that the programmable CBDC would be easily weaponized as a spying tool to choke out politically unpopular activity, among other things. As the federal government seeks to maintain and expand financial control to which it has grown accustomed, the idea of the central bank digital currency has gained traction within the institutions of power in the United States as a government-controlled, programmable money that can be easily weaponized into a surveillance tool. And what's crazy about this, people, is that it's not even me telling you this. Like, who will it take for people to hear for us to understand what's happening in the United States right now? This is a congressman telling you this. This isn't King. This is a congressman telling you, yo, have y'all not paying attention? And no, we're not paying attention. And again, I like to point these things out. I think it's like a guilty conscience thing for me because I don't want to feel bad when I'm on the other side. And it's like, I try to tell everybody to do something, but ain't nobody want to, like, I'm not going to sit on the losing side with a bunch of people who's scared to fight. That's fucking stupid. Whatever. I'll go with the strength and power. And I say that to say this. Not only is he correct, 2 things. For one, I don't think it'll be, it won't be as bad if people adopt Bitcoin because that will always be a way to circumvent things. Like, so I think that even having a CBDC would be great because, again, that'll be a base hit to Bitcoin. But CBDCs could be used for bills, like general shit, right? Everything you use your dollars for, you can use a CBDC for. But if you wanted to transact in private businesses and private sales and private this and whatever, then you just use your Bitcoin. Or even if you wanted to use that for the government, you can use it too, but we can have more than one thing. So that's the first thing. Second thing I would say is, yes, what he's thinking of what CBDCs can do, they will do. And I actually think is a good thing, not just for CBDCs. I keep telling people all the time, I'm part of the gang. I'm about to expose myself, folks. I'm a part of the gang, and this is why they love me too. Globalization is real. It's happening. I wanted it to happen. I think it's going to happen. It's going to be accelerated by things like CBDCs and digital identities. I think the positive of this is that we have accountability of every human on the planet. So if someone's sick, hurt, and need, you got a kid that's not being looked after the right way, you can literally do a whatever, like a well person's check or whatever. I can't think of that word right now. You all know what I'm saying. When you check on the well-being of a person, you can do things like that literally just from a digital identity. Did this 10-year-old remember to put a check mark next to safety once a year? Something as simple as that. Now, yes, on the flip side, will that allow for more control from the government and allow for opportunities for like serious crazy things to happen? Like they said, political opposition, not even politicals. I mean, maybe regional things like what's happening here or there. Yes. Will that stuff, could those things also happen? Yes. That may be a side effect. I'm not saying it won't. Not sure how that's going to go. But I do think the globalization and digitization of everything is going to happen. I'm a person who's a proponent of it, and I do understand how bad it can get if the government does not play fair by it, which is also why at the same time, I try to tell people, and we try to talk about these stories and say, yo, something is wrong right now with these CBDCs, the congressperson saying this. So it's up to us as a nation to actually make things happen. If not, SOL when the day comes is going to be either you have the money or you don't. You either have power or you don't. And if you don't on those, good luck to you. I know I won't be worried, but oh well. All right, on a on a brighter note, Rapper The Game's crypto startup get registration revoked. I thought it was a brighter note. Goodness gracious. The SEC said that Paragon Coin Limited violated securities laws for failing to file the required periodic reports. Goodness gracious. That sucks right there. Crypto startup backed by the American rapper The Game, they put his real name, had his registration revoked by the U.S. SEC for violating securities laws after failing to file periodic reports. Paragon Coin Limited, a crypto firm focusing on the marijuana industry, had his license revoked by the SEC after confirming in its allegations against the company and finding that the firm is in default. The SEC started proceedings against the firm in February of 2022 and pointed out that his last filing was from March 2019, which states it lost over $10 million in 2018. Oh, they probably didn't file because they like, we broke and ain't nothing to file no more. Like, you want us to close down? Is that what y'all want? According to SEC, the crypto company ignored a delinquency letter sent by an SEC division about the periodic reports. In addition, the SEC also pointed out that the crypto startup did not respond to its order initiating proceedings. So really quick, this is what I mean. And did not answer 5 months later to provide reasons why it should not be found in default. This is why I'm anti regulation right now. I'm for self-regulation because this company, hold on really quick. And by the way, every crypto company out there that had like a celebrity endorsement, like let me because we're gonna have to clip this one day. I can already tell. Let me do this. I'm pretty sure almost every crypto company out there that's had a celebrity endorsement has failed because the real cryptocurrencies, real Bitcoin, these things, you do not need a celebrity endorsement. It's technology. You read the code. It works. It works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You don't need anything extra. It will work. But since these things don't work and they can't beat the likes of Bitcoin on their code, they have to have these celebrity endorsements all the time. But I mean, literally, we count back to every celebrity endorsement out there. Let us know in the comments. I'm not sure there's any left alive right now that have not failed in the crypto sector. But what I wanted to point out is that they're going after this Paragon Coin and Game. All right. So it said it lost $10 million in 2018. I would assume, if I can remember correctly, when we were covering all these celebrities, it was late 2017, early 2018 when they were launching their projects, trying to, of course, come off the pump of that biggest bull cycle at the time we ever saw in like the history of any market, right? When Bitcoin hit 20,000 from $1,000, 19,800 or something like that. A lot of companies were launched, and then in 2018 we went through a ugly bear market. Zay and I felt the effects of that bear market in 2018 and 2019 as well. So you're telling me a brand new cryptocurrency company in 2017/2018 loses 10 million in 2018, or so they say, right? And then the SEC is also coming after you, saying you didn't fill out all the right reports and everything. Like, it's a new company and a new market. Goodness gracious. Like, shit. It's literally like, could you imagine if could you imagine telling a 2-year-old to fill out to fill out a progress report? Like telling a 5-year-old to fill out a paperwork or something? Like, they're brand new now. And again, this would be different if the industries and markets were old. This is an entirely new market. So you're telling a new company in a new market, y'all didn't file out the right paperwork with us. Like, this is crazy. And this is truly un-American. That should have been the show for the day. Un-American. Today's been an un-American day. Shame, 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 shame to all of these regulators out there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw this link in the chat. Feel free to call in. Today is still Fuck Bitcoin Friday. And clearly that's been the theme, right? Because, I mean, goodness gracious, fuck it. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this. There we go. There's a link in the chat. If you got some smoke, feel free to call in. If Gems, you're in the chat, feel free to call in. I would love to hear somebody talk about Richard Hart, post-change, post-X. What's going on with that, as Embrace a Success asked about earlier. If anybody's a Shiba Inu fan, yeah, you call in and let us know. Sam Bankman freed the Ryoshi. It kind of seems possible, to be honest. We'll see. We'll see. Whatever it is, though, feel free to call in and let me know what we have. I'm going to go through some comments real quick before I jump on this last story of the day. Really quick. Let's see. Jay Fever said iCoin Wallet. That's right. Shout out to iCoin Wallet. And Cario says someone should tell SBF to fill out some paperwork sometime. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, that's my point. You literally have SBF taking down the entire market, and then you have the regulators going after Paragon Coin, who's worth like 5 to 10 million or something max, that didn't fill out some paperwork. Like, come on, man. Like, way to waste our resources. Let's see. Game Ben went a bit crazy, said Todd. I want to do no business partnership with him. Yeah, you see who end up getting into it with him on a rap battle. It's funny. I've seen the you know what? I see what they mean in LA. I've seen the game out in LA. I see what they mean. Is like LA is a big, small city, people. It's very interesting. What if my celebrity are the cyberpunks? Hal Finney, Andreas Antonopoulos, Jimmy Song, Caitlin Long. All right, local TX. I'm with you on that. They do not count. I'm with you. If your celebrity is a cyberpunk, they don't count. This is talking Hollywood celebrity. Hilarious. So guess what that means for Snoop's new music company. Hey, I wish Snoop the best, though. I will say out of all those celebrities, he has actually been staying in it more than anyone. So I actually give him props, and I hope his does work out. Not only has he been staying in crypto throughout the years, even when it's been down markets. I think I actually saw him wear some Bitcoin type stuff before. So I can't be mad at Snoop. Snoop Dogg has officially put it in his time in the market, even if it's just to be a spokesperson. He's still been putting in that time, even during the bear markets. So we got to give him props on that. We do got to give him props on that. Let's see. MTX Crypto said King wants CBDCs because they'll be for the well-being of the people. No, I think CBDCs are a base hit to Bitcoin adoption as a whole. So let's be clear. I don't think we need CBDCs, period. Like, if it's up to me right now, everybody should be using Bitcoin, and then we can start using other altcoins and other cryptocurrencies that claim to compete, right? But right now, the truest form of our currency and the best monetary system would be on Bitcoin's blockchain, to me personally, or at least be backed by it. When CBDCs popped up, when all these 22,000 altcoins popped up, when all these different things popped up, I had to stop myself from being a negative Nancy all the time and pushing back and fighting back and being the old guy in the room, and instead appreciate it, instead welcome it, because it's like, I'm not going to win that fight. I'm not going to win a fight against the government and banks to not deploy CBDCs. Like, I am not winning. Like, we can't even get a bunch of thumbs up on the channel right now when we spitting game and talking about the market price every day. So I'm not about to change anyone's mind on CBDCs. What I am saying is for me to take a more positive approach and to actually understand how the market will more likely be shaped, since mass adoption has not happened overnight with a superior technology in Bitcoin. People haven't even read the first paragraph of the white paper, understands peer-to-peer crypto. Since all those things aren't happening, I have to at least be realistic and positive and say, fine, CBDCs are coming. Let's talk about it. All right, makes sense. I understand why they want to use them. Here are some ways they can use them. Well, it won't affect the overall market. And while people are using them, this is a great thing, actually, because now they learn about digital currency in general. They learn about digital assets. They learn more. And then I think as they continue to learn and they start to look at more of these different things, they will realize, as of now, we'll see what changes in the future, but Bitcoin is one of the purest forms out there. And they say, why don't we just use this? So that's my thought on things like CBDCs and everything like that. It's not that like I think it's good for the people or anything like that. No, I think Bitcoin right now would be good for the people. But I mean, shit. So with spinach and vegetables and fruits and working out every day. Like, don't get me started. I'm about to trigger people. Like, there's many things. Calling a spade will be good for the people. We don't care about that. So we'll see. Let's see. Hominy says, speaking of South Dakota, is fighting back and denying a bill against crypto and BTC not being currency. Okay. All right. Let's see. Todd saying the OSI motto of traditional finance in the U.S., one of the protocols is get down or lay down, ho. Basically, that's pretty funny, but true. What else do we have? Free Edward Snowden. Same, I agree. Free Edward Snowden. Definitely. You don't have to be for something to figure out if you make it work for oneself. Yep, there we go. All right, last story, but certainly not least. And again, feel free to call in if you have anything. Embrace it. According to an article from Bitcoinist Connor Grogan from Coinbase, link SBF to a Ryoshi wallet named Alameda. Oh man, you all are hilarious. Richard Hart removed Hex from his bio and then added it back overnight when people called him out on it. Said, just inform you. Yeah, if anybody's here from the Hexicans, I mean, I thought we could. Weren't we supposed to be able to summon these guys? Hold on. Hexicans, call in Hexicans. The link is in the chat. You've been wanting to call in. Maybe we could summon a Hexican today. What happened? You guys, your project drops 90% and you call in. Now Richard that's not claiming. Whoa. What happens when you join a gang and the gang leader says it's not a gang no more. What happens when the gang leader says, I don't want no more parts of this? Woo! Woo-wee. You have found yourself up shit's creek without a paddle, as they would say in the South, okay? The boss of all bosses said, I'm out. Now, this is what I want all those Hexkins to do. If you don't call in today, we call in. There we go. There we go, Asher. We got one. Oh, Asher, he's a warrior too. But I want all you Hexkins out there to do something today. All that shit y'all was talking to us on Twitter, go to Richard Hart and flame him up. That's y'all boy. Flame him up. Hey, we're going on, of course, host from Crypto and Down. We got Asher L. Welcome to the show, Asher. How everything been, man?
Yo, what's good, King? I'm doing pretty well. Just trying to keep the grind on going, watching y'all, getting the daily tips, and just checking what's going on in the market. But I just had to call in. Shout out to Jams. I had to text him to tell him to come on so we can talk that Hex talk, explain what's going on with Pulse Chain. I don't know what's going on. I'll just leave that to the Hex experts, as I like to say. But I was calling actually because that was me, MTX Crypto, in the chat, kind of trolling at you about the CBDCs. And I did like your explanation on it, kind of expounding on how you think that's going to play out, bringing in mass adoption. So I'm always interested to hear people how they think the CBDCs, because I do think they're going to be a reality no matter what, just because you're right, that's the way the market's going to move, especially with larger corporations, banks settling transactions. CBDCs are kind of inevitable. At not the retail level just yet, but not necessarily the United States, but definitely other countries. We see them rolling it out in Nigeria, testing it in South America, Brazil, and some of these other countries. So CBDCs is definitely going to be a reality for the central banks, for some other countries first, not necessarily the US, but the US will probably be the last ones to adopt it. The interesting point, I always like to bring that up, some of the top Bitcoin developers are also working on the US CBDC Project Hamilton at MIT. So the CBDC can't get away from Bitcoin, as far as, not that it will be the actual blockchain, but it is utilizing some of that technology as far as the UTXO model. So I think that is proven to why. And I like Bitcoin, but I still like the forks of Bitcoin as well. And I still think those are Bitcoin because they still follow the Satoshi Nakamoto consensus. Not necessarily all of them will be, say, best for different types of use cases or mass adoption. But I think, yeah, for sure, we can't separate the CBDC from Bitcoin because they're utilizing the same model, has the same type of developers, especially the ones that you think Europe are probably going to be using because, MIT and the Boston Federal Reserve definitely did some work and research to lay the blueprint out for what they will probably be adopting in the West, particularly Europe first, and then eventually, who knows how long later, us here in America.
I'm smiling because we got, all right, great. You got to call in next. All right, we got a Hexkin here. That's why I had to summon him. I summoned one.
I saw you bust out the
I had to summon one. No. I appreciate the feedback and the thoughts on that too. No, so first, I didn't even realize that was you, but in general, just everyone out there, you all have to remember, like, this is how I talk, everybody. I just talk like this. And I did debate in high school. And then for those who are familiar with the criminal justice system, if you're familiar with the criminal justice system, like most lawyers and prosecutors, as hard as they fight in court, like somebody might be on death row and they going at it in court. They're literally go get a beer afterwards and some lunch. So it's not like, just let everybody know when I'm yelling and shouting, we're going on these points on the show. This is like, we love crypto, folks. We're passionate about it. We talk crypto stuff, but definitely we'll get beers afterwards and talk about sports something. But no, so yeah, when it came to CBD, I figured somebody was just trolling. But yeah, when it comes to that stuff, like I said, I'm with you on it too. Like when it's the building of it, as these top Bitcoin developers are working on it, this is a scary thing. That's something you mentioned. I wonder how much some of these developers are being like welcomed or almost literally forced into this development and some of these things, because even the one developer like who made the Tornado Cash, who's locked up right now, is like, well, if he would have made that for banks and the government, would he been in prison? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if Tornado Cash was for banks and government, not for the retail market, I don't think he'd be in prison right now. Like he'd be a billionaire.
Yeah. Who says maybe he may work out some deal, be released, and they'll bring him into gang, like you say, and hey, do some work for us. I was just seeing in the chat, like talking about the CBDCs. I think that's there. I see the laws being proposed to ban retail central bank digital currencies, and since the U.S., there is still some competition left. I think, and definitely our Federal Reserve and their charter, the banks, they don't want to go out. So the commercial banks here still are thriving, and they don't want to go bankrupt. So I think they have an interest to wait to have a CBDC come to America. But like in Europe and those communists and socialists, they're gonna push whatever, and we'll see how it gets tested out in places in Africa and South America. But I do think, like you say, there are options here in America for people to use cryptocurrency outside of it, outside of CBDC, outside of Bitcoin. So, it's always New York trying to do these things to stifle the competition, because
New York.
Who are they connected to? They're connected to the redacted. They're connected to the European National Bank, conglomerates. That's not part, that is trying to squash, let's say, America's rich oligarchs. So.
Right. No, and then really quick, what I will say too with the CBDCs and the I'm about to lose the thought. It was a great thought I just had. I'm about to lose it, but oh well. Somebody was saying you look like Top Gun with the red glasses. I thought that was pretty cool. We love the red glasses. Red glasses.
Yeah, that was that Top Gun movie. I haven't seen many movies in theaters, but that was probably one of the best movies I've seen.
I got to see the second one. I still had to see the second one. So
it was good. It was good. Solid movie throughout. None of that. No, like they say, none of that woke crap. Just a solid, good story.
So really quick before you leave, what tokens should people be looking at? What are you interested in the market right now? What should people be paying attention to?
Check out eCash and check out Filecoin. So eCash is a fork of Bitcoin Cash. So originally it's the people who forked Bitcoin Cash, Amari Sachet, and those people, and they had to leave those toxic BCH people behind. But check out eCash because they're still keeping the proof of work. They just implemented recently the Avalanche consensus protocol, I guess, for pre-mining and post-mining consensus, just to be able to make one block settlements transactions. So I would say check out eCash. It's the community there is good. You don't have that toxic people from like Bitcoin Silver, Craig Wright and those people, or the people like Roger Ver and those other people who are on Bitcoin Cash. It seems like they got businesses, they're getting things done, kind of flying under the radar. So check out eCash because they're actually doing, I think, good work and have some interesting type of stable coins on there, which fall outside of the purview of the different regulations of how the rules are set up now.
And then you said old school Filecoin. I haven't heard that one in a minute.
I would say just because if I'm betting on the whole storage and I see the NFTs, heard Amazon is rolling out NFTs and that's still a thing. People, I guess the corporations want these NFTs. And if you're talking about decentralized storage in a way, potentially, I mean, there are, I think, other coins similar to Filecoin. But if we're going to look at what's going to be here in the next bull run that's outside of Bitcoin and actually has a fundamental use case from the storage aspect, utilizing like IPFS and decentralized storage, which will get a lot of, private money investment to be able to offload the big data survey warehouses that they have and get people to be able to store and incentivize it for the common people. I say Filecoin would be the one probably to bet on for the next bull run to actually do well.
All right, hey, that is a big backing on there. It is an oldie but goodie, so we'll make sure we pay attention. As always, thanks for calling in, Asher. Of course,
appreciate it. Shout out to Jams, shout out to Crypto and Down. We'll be back sometime. We just gotta take care of some things, but we'll be back to streaming here pretty soon.
There we go. All right, man. Check you out soon. Thanks for calling in. All right, later.
Yes,
all right. Last but not least, this is a very interesting story. Shout out to CoffeeZilla. So, of course, you all actually told me about CoffeeZilla. I didn't know who he was at first. I had found the other guy first, and then you all said CoffeeZilla was like the OG that's calling out scammers and everything. I saw he made it to Joe Rogan, and he called out, or Joe Rogan asked him about the whole Logan Paul NFT or whatever game, play to earn game that never came out. And I mean, he went again, reiterate everything that happened on Joe Rogan. But it looks like this story is back in the news again as DAO Maker founder builds game based on abandoned Logan Paul project in just 30 days And not only did he build it, it looks like he's actually getting the capital to go along with it. This is crazy. Again, I think Logan Paul had the game for like a year or two. He's been trying to work on it, or so he says, or something. I don't know what happened. But it looks like this DGen Zoo has seen more than 115,000 wallets registered to join the game, pledging over $700 million. Wow. And again, what I really want to point out is the ridiculousness of this. $700 million to a new NFT or something game that nobody's played yet. This is what's wrong with the market. This is why regulators will come to parts of the market. And this is why it's like you can't fight it. The adoption is going to be slow. It is what it is. Just try to find as many people that's about to get smacked by this game and bring them over to Bitcoin when the time comes. 700 million to a game that was created in 30 days that nobody's playing right now. Okay. The immaturity in this market. This is what people are talking about. But let's get back to it. I'm not even mad because, hey, a game gets 700 million. Sam Beckman-Fried, some guy we never heard of, he gets a few billion. All right, like this is what we're working with right now in this market. This is crazy. DGen Zoo, an NFT game inspired by YouTuber Logan Paul's controversial Crypto Zoo concept, has seen more than 115,000 wallets registered to join the game with pledges of over $700 million. I wonder that these wallets, are they just saying that's how much the wallets have in them? Or I can't believe people push 700 million toward this or pledged it. But post-chain, hey, never mind. Post-chain, you know, how much was that post-chain? A couple billion? And that thing just got taken off somebody's bio. So I don't know. Maybe this is a norm. Maybe I'm just wrong. I need some better rich friends, man. Hey, all my friends out there, you're broke. All right, I'm gonna make sure it's known. DAO Maker founder Christoph Zanknam took on the challenge of building his variant of the Shelf Zoo theme game in just 30 days. In August 2021, Logan Paul announced a project called Crypto Zoo, which involved buying NFT eggs that was supposedly hatch the animals. You can play them, crossbreed them, blah, 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 make more money. The project raised over 3 million in NFT sales and tens of millions in Zoo tokens. However, it failed to deliver. They felt they were, many people felt they were rug pulled by the influencer. Of course, CoffeeZilla called him out, recalled him out again. On Joe Rogan. Logan Paul first came back at CoffeeZilla saying like, hey, lawsuits and this guy's full of shit. He's a fake journalist. Then he came back with a second video. It was like, you know what? I was too hasty. I never actually said when we were going to complete the project, but I'm going to work on completing it. I just don't have a date yet, blah, 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 blah. And I do think people should be made whole. And that was a few months ago. CoffeeZilla reported on Joe Rogan this past week that he's heard nothing since then. So a lot of people did call that original game a scam. Now, again, it looks like this new guy wanted to broadcast his progress, garnered interest from 250,000 people with more than 30,000 testnet transactions initiated by 3,000 players within the first few days. Oh, wow. Okay. So people have already started on testnet. Shout out to them. I mean, that's really a shame. Granted, the level of expertise is totally different. You talk about MakerDAO founder versus Logan Paul, influencer, and whatever team he can put together with his money. It's a big difference. Again, money doesn't buy you expertise in this space. We keep trying to tell people that, but nobody's listening to us. But it's funny every time we see it. It's like, don't matter what you're smart in or what you've done or how much money you have, you will be starting from zero here. It's just the way of this market. But yeah, it looks like this testnet is out. And yeah, people are actually it seems to be using it. 700 million has been pledged. That's what I'm more interested in to see what happens with that. But I guess we have to wait and see. I'll definitely look it up and try to check out the game. But if it does work, this would be a crazy story. And even crazier is the amount of capital that's, of course, people are saying is being pledged to it. Not sure how that pledge is coming in, but that's a ridiculous pledge in of itself. All right. That is the show for the day. I was looking at my ladder to see if I need to summon anybody else. But let me see the last few comments. Local TX. So, I asked Bitcoin Zay that earlier. No, I asked Zay that earlier. Essentially was like, again, for me, I rarely bring up the race thing because I don't see it like that oftentimes. But maybe it's a money thing. I will say maybe it is a money and capital thing because Zay and I have never spent a large amount of capital to advertising and marketing, whereas just about everybody else that you see oftentimes have. So I'm thinking maybe it's the marketing and stuff we need to improve upon. But I don't know. I was telling him today, I was just like, when I saw this, I was like, what is it where people are getting second and third chance or even first chances for some of them with no work in this space, and the numbers that are being associated with these names and projects and platforms are 700 million. Even if that's not the real number, let's say the real number is 70 million. That's crazy. That's incredible. So I don't know the answer to that. I couldn't tell you, but I will say what we said today. We don't know the answer, but we're going to keep on keeping on. This is what we do. We like to look and talk about the show. The reason why we were late today is because we were talking crypto before we even started the show. And then we went on about 15 minutes after. But this is what we do. We talk crypto. We dissect the market. We analyze it. We work on our own portfolios. If it helps other people, cool. But that is what we do. So who knows? Last couple of comments. Let's see what else we have. Said he'd be facing charges to be all over mainstream media. Let's see anything else. All right, I think that's about it. See, I'm running a Joe Rogan style show today with this. Hilarious. Smash that like and share. And of course, we will see you all tomorrow. And we're going to be jumping on more social media by the end of this weekend too. So this should be a fun one. We'll see.